Marcus Rashford, born October 31st, 1997, a Manchester local and a product of the Manchester United youth system. The 27-year-old has had a career that most would only dream of. From not only playing for your boyhood club but basically becoming the face and star player of Manchester United. But recently, events suggest all is not well between Rashford and his boyhood club. So, what really happened? How did Rashford go from being the star man of Manchester United to being an option for transfer outgoings in January? Now, Marcus Rashford's struggles did not just start recently. It goes all the way back to the 2021-22 season, where he finished the season with the measly 7-goal contributions in 32 games. Fans and journalists then started to talk about if time was up for the star boy in Manchester United. But then came along Erik ten Hag in the 2022-23 season with promises to make Marcus Rashford the player he was and even better. And granted to the Dutch manager, he came through on that promise, because Rashford went on to put up an outstanding 39-goal contributions, prompting influential YouTubers like Mark Goldbridge to mention him in Ballon d'Or conversations. Now one may ask, what went wrong? How does a player who has such a fantastic season like this go on in just a year to drop in performance and produce 13-goal contributions in 43 games in the 2023-24 season, hence putting Erik ten Hag under pressure and eventually leading to his sacking? A recurring theme with the former United star we'll talk about later. I mentioned earlier an apparent fallout between Manchester United and Marcus Rashford. And one might think this happened after the 2023-24 season, but you would be wrong. 15 December 2024, the day of the Manchester derby, new and excited manager Ruben Amorim drops Marcus Rashford and Alejandro Garnacho from the team entirely. Not on the subs bench, nothing. And as you would expect, when a player who seems undroppable gets entirely sidelined for a game as big as Manchester Derby, people were surprised, outraged, and intrigued. And what added more fuel to the fire was Manchester United going on to win the match with a convincing performance, one might say. And this is what I believe started a chain of events. People started to question Marcus Rashford's impact in the squad, if there was ever any. People started to question why he was dropped. Was it due to his off-field antics, like the time he took a trip to Belfast in the week the team had a match, or maybe bad training performances? The fan base was divided, some standing by Rashford, pointing to his loyalty and contributions over the years, others questioning his consistency and commitment, especially in a season where United are struggling for form. But the media, as always, adds fuel to the fire. Almost in the same vein as Cristiano Ronaldo when he cut ties with Manchester United in his return, Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford grants an interview with Henry Winter, telling him he is quote-unquote ready for a new challenge. Now, this is probably not what one would want to hear from a player who was dropped for not performing well, and even the fans who were strongly behind the superstar began to question his motives and if he ever really loved playing for the club, or simply just wanted a paycheck. Things were not helped when Amorim once again dropped Marcus Rashford in the Carabao Cup quarterfinals against Tottenham Hotspur. This would continue up until their most recent loss against Wolverhampton Wanderers in the league. Now, tensions are high in the fan base, and questions are being asked of the players and their lack of performance, and the focus went off the Mancunian for a bit. But remember, the media always adds fuel to the fire. Respected Manchester United journalist Andy Mitten says that every club boss has had an issue with exiled forward Marcus Rashford. This information, coming 3 days after the loss to Wolves, just took things from bad to worse in terms of support for Marcus. Remember when I mentioned that managers getting sacked and Rashford not performing went hand in hand? Well, the season Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got sacked, Rashford had 5 goals and 2 assists. That was also the season Ralf Rangnick was not retained in Manchester United. The season Jose Mourinho got sacked, Rashford got 13 goals and 7 assists in almost 50 games. And what was even more concerning is that it seemed that right after a manager got sacked, he would all of a sudden get rejuvenated and start performing again, almost like it was intentional. This is how the fans felt after hearing what journalist Andy Mitten was told by former Manchester United coaches. Now, another thing that bothered fans was that if the managers knew he was the problem, then surely the higher-ups would as well. And that's when it all started clicking as to how deep the problem with Rashford was, that the club was willing to sack managers to hide it. Now to the main question on what really happened to Marcus Rashford. I believe it's 2 things. 1, the wrong mentality, and 2, the wrong people surrounding him. Most Manchester United fans are acquainted to the PR Marcus Rashford has around him in relation to the work he does off the pitch and the overblown hype around his actual performances on the pitch. Now, there is no doubt that Marcus Rashford is a talented player, but the hype around him, you would think he's one of the best players in his position in Europe, not to talk of England. And I believe this is affecting him mentality-wise, making him believe he is actually better than he is, and making him believe that he was bigger than the name Manchester United, probably leading to him making all these mistakes he has made over the years. Marcus Rashford and Manchester United share a bond that runs deeper than football. But the question now is it a bond worth fighting for? In times of adversity, trust and patience can reignite the spark. But let's face it, in the current state United find themselves, with results not going their way and fans calling for a rebuild and clear out of underperforming players, it's just a matter of time before we see Manchester United saying goodbye to Marcus Rashford. Let me know what you think in the comment section, whether you think there is still a chance for Marcus Rashford or if it's all over. Before I go, I want to thank you guys for the support this year, getting to 90 subscribers. Despite my horrible upload schedule, but hopefully I can make more videos and then we can reach 100 subscribers in 2025. I wish you all a happy new year, and as usual, any feedback from you guys would be greatly appreciated.